Okay, now we're working on the wheel assembly, um, and there's a PDF. Let me pull that over here of the sizes of all of the parts. You only need to create one of the bracket because they're identical. Just we'll use two of them in the actual part. Okay, so you'll create each of these as a part file in a project. You know, at this point going forward, like we said, always create a new project for your assemblies and keep only that project and that related stuff in that folder. It just makes it easier in the long run. Okay, so we'll create these parts. This one is a couple of cylinders. You can revolve it. You can do extrusions either way. This one, um, you know, it's not too difficult to make, but you do have a rib here. You may be able to get the rib tool to work. You may have to sketch and extrude. You just kind of have to kind of play with it and do the best you can. Okay. The wheel, do a revolve feature on that, sketch that profile and then revolve it. Easiest way. And in the base plate, you know, a couple of extrusions and cuts and holes, um, and then fillets on the ends. I do recommend to always use the hole feature anytime you can to create drilled holes or threaded holes. It's just so much easier, especially when you go to doing drawings. Okay, now we want to assemble this stuff, so I'm going to create a new assembly, and this is a metric parts. Let's see, standard millimeter. My computer is slowing down on me this morning. Did it do it? Not seeing it come up. There we go. Okay. All right. So I want to put my, oh, wrong folder, wheel assembly. We'll put my base plate in here first. All right. And hey, just weird the way that came up. Okay. Anyway, in assembling this, let's see. My brackets are going to go down below right here. So let's bring in the bracket. And I'm going to go ahead and place two of them. Okay. And now I want to constrain them. And because I've got holes, that's how I'm going to align this thing up, is because that's what drives this whole feature is the bolts going through those holes. Because you notice there's a small gap right here. So you can't constrain those right against each other. Okay, so you always go with the holes. Anytime you've got mating surfaces that are bolted together. Come on, there we go. Okay. All right. Now let's bring in our axle. Now, one thing to keep in mind on the axle and on the wheel also, um, let's measure the distance here between this face and this face. 2.283 inch. Why is that showing up inches? Strange. I could have swore I started a metric assembly file. Anyway, that gave me the diameter. 2.165. Okay, so they're not going to be touching flush against each other. All right, so we kind of have to do an offset. We can do an insert. Let's try an insert. And we're going to go with that ring against there. Now we look at this distance right here. We need half of that distance as an offset. And I'm not sure why I'm coming up inches. Maybe in trying to open this file, I hit the inch assembly file. That should be millimeters. So now I got to do calculations. Let me try that. Well, it looks like I guessed correctly on that. So I'm going to go OK. All right, so that's got that in place. Notice it's not flush on the outside, not flush out here, and not touching or mating on the insides here. Okay, next we'd do the wheel. Oh, why am I? Okay, same thing. We can do an insert. There we go. And then we also want to have an offset on that. You'll have to calculate that. I'm going to guess. Okay, now that got that in place, but this is free to rotate. My computer's like slowing down on me. It's free to rotate. I would recommend constraining that so it does not rotate with an angular constraint. And you can just angle directed. We'll go XZ to that. And that will lock it in place so it doesn't rotate. Okay. Especially this one doesn't have any holes in the wheel, but if there were holes in the ribs, you'd want that thing locked down. So when we go to create drawings, nothing shows up. Okay, and so that's the assembly. Pretty simple. Everything should be constrained. When I grab it and move it, nothing should move. If I go to wireframe view and I look at my principal views, I should be able to see things, all the axles and things are concentric there. I look at the bottom, the holes are concentric there, and things are concentric there. The holes and the axles and the shafts all line up. And so that's how we do it. Pretty simple, eh?